listening to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast.
Y allá vamos, hermanos y hermanas, bienvenidos al Getting Salty Podcast, el único podcast que te trae la mesa de la estación de bomberos así.
You got problems.
Pero nunca serán capaces de hacerlo. Yo soy un Kevin Kubler y estoy aquí con mi mejor amigo Luis Tufano y nuestro hijo, producer Pete.
Oh my God.
All right, fellas. This was my Cinco de Mayo. We were supposed to do this show on Cinco de Mayo. I went and bought this silly hat. I said, this silly hat, bro.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Crap. And here I was at the gym the other day telling the girl she wanted to wear a sombrero to work. I said, that's a little bit of cultural appropriation. You might get yelled at by somebody.
Who was doing the talking there? Is that Jose? Did that for you?
Man, Jose sent that to me.
Hey, Jose.
I know.
Well, welcome back. I don't know what he said. Something like "Welcome back." It's the only podcast in the world.
He said what we always do. Always.
Did he say it exact?
Almost exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice work, Jose. Seriously, that was
Great
awesome.
job, brother.
Like you speak Spanish or something.
Kevin looked like a lamp.
I call Jose. I go, "Hey, Jose, do you speak Spanish?" He goes, "Really? Really?"
Come on.
Yeah, man. All right, fellas. We got a really good show tonight. We got a guy who's near and dear to my heart because he was good buddies with the Rug. Richie the Rug, my brother. But before we get to introducing our guest, Pete, why don't you give us the shameless plugs, bro?
Woo, ladies and gentlemen. Two things coming at you tonight. Number one is gettingsaltyapparel.com, where you find the ultimate hoodie. I'm going to start calling this the ultimate Getting Salty hoodie right here. My favorite hoodie in the world, or hats like Mr. Refrano's, or this beautiful tumbler to keep all your drinks nice and cold. I'm telling you, we got it all over at gettingsaltyapparel.com. If you want to support us and support the show, please do some shopping there. Also, guys, don't be afraid to use the super chat. If you have a question that you absolutely positively must ask, Mr. Tufano tonight, or one of us, or if you just want to be cool and drop us a few shekels because you're enjoying the show, hit the super chat, man. We appreciate it. Cramp if you have to cramp. It's okay. The show's free. But if you guys want to support us, thank you for all the support in the past week. We appreciate it. And hit us in the super chat too. Thank you, guys.
Sweet. Pete, did you get the word of the day by any chance?
I did, but do we want to bring in Mr. Tufano first?
Yes, but I just wanted to make sure you got it.
Oh, I so got it, bro.
All right, here he is, the big man himself, the guy, a rugby player, a boxer, a ring announcer, a firefighter, lieutenant, captain, chief. He's got it all. He's got it all. Philly Tufano.
Hey.
Thank you for that very flattering introduction, Kevin. Thank you. Two of the all-time greats.
Phil, we can't see you.
We can't see you. What happened to your camera?
I'm here. You don't see me?
We could see you. You're just a little fuzzy because the internet's a little slow.
Hello.
I don't see him at all.
You don't see him at all?
No.
I hear him and I see him.
You don't got me?
No, we got you. I got you.
All right. I don't see him, but
I don't see him either.
I see him.
Yeah.
What's going? Mystery guest. Okay, so maybe they don't see you.
The guys in the chat see him?
I don't know.
Irene. Hold on a second.
This might be the best.
Hey, Philly, do you know how to go out of the room and come back in?
No, but I'm gonna get my wife. Hold on.
All right.
Oh boy.
All right, so we'll chit chat a little. So Big Phil, he played on the rugby team.
Oh no.
Dude, that's definitely the meatloaf. The meatloaf, without a doubt.
Hey, Mom! You want it now! Mom, meatloaf! Fuck!
I freaking love that, man. It is so funny.
Take my wife, please.
Unmuted your mic.
So all right.
Can you hear me?
No, you're unmuted now. You're good. But we gotta have. There he goes. He'll come
He's
back.
out. He's back in. He's out.
Dude, the
We knew-
meatloaf is so funny.
We knew it would be a problem, but not this fast. So
I mean, right off the bat, the guy's out. I mean,
Uh-oh.
yeah, he'll come back soon. This was
We'll
good.
get it done.
Yeah,
We'll
let
get
me
it.
tell you. Oh, here he is. He's back.
All right, here I am.
Hey!
Thank my lovely wife. For
Thank
thank
Well,
God
yeah,
for that
yeah.
woman. That's all I got to say.
Irene, thank you.
The meatloaf.
I read the meatloaf. Fuck.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
We want it now.
But anyway, guys, good to be here. Good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
What's
Oh,
up, Philly
good to
kid?
have you.
How you like that
No,
talk up I gave
another
you?
day above ground, baby.
Yeah.
Good day.
Yep. All right, Petey. Now let's give the word of the day.
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to play a special sound effect for this word of the day. And today's word of the day is...
All right, Rocco.
Rocco!
Oh.
Nice.
Cut me, Mick. Cut me, Mick.
Cheers.
Salute.
All right, let's get right into it, Phil. Let's dive into it. You grew up in
Well,
what?
before we
where-
do,
Oh, what do you got?
I just want to send a big kind of like some, I need the guys to all say a big prayer for Kevin Kelly from Engine 307, who's going through some really bad times now. And hopefully he's going to pull through. I don't want to say what he's fighting. It's not COVID, but battling a serious illness. And I love Kevin. We all do. And so let's all pray for him, whether you know him or not out there. And also for Ronnie Kirshner, who's battling premature dementia, which is a very tough thing. And his wife and family are doing just inspiring stuff with Ronnie. And
Tough.
and the last thing is just a shout out to my guys from Jackson Heights, because I heard they put on a great memorial service, kind of a celebration of life for Calder Lalo, who passed away recently, and also for Charlie Hoffman. Two huge losses for us, and they did a great job. Had like over 90 guys show up, and it was beautiful.
That was a great place.
Sorry I missed it, but
That was a great
That's a
place.
tight firehouse, man. Yeah, good for them, man. Prayers do work, Phil. So we'll all be praying for them.
yeah,
Absolutely.
but,
Absolutely.
yeah. But I'll tell you, I got to tell you guys, what a great format you got going here, because I love watching them, and it's like being back at work. It really is, because there's one problem down here. It's that everybody's too polite. There was absolutely no ball breaking going on, so.
We're
It's a
gonna
little
break your
tough for
balls.
me. I got to kind of like. Always...
Where are you now, Chief?
What's that?
Where are you now?
Oh, I'm down in South Carolina, in the upstate, not too
Gotcha.
far from Clemson University, Round Lake Robinson.
Nice.
Really,
Nice.
really enjoying it down here. But like I said, there's a serious shortage of ball busters down here. So good to be on here.
Sweet. We've been trying to get you for a while, so I'm glad it finally worked out.
Yeah.
So, where did you grow up? What neighborhood you're from originally?
I'm from the great fighting city of Brentwood, New York.
Whoa!
One
Nice.
time was
Brentwood is the fighting city.
Now really isn't. You know?
And what made you want to get into the fire service? Do you have any family on there, or?
Well, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. Going out of high school, I want to go in the Marine Corps. And my parents were up in arms, totally annoyed that I was going to do this. And my dad talked me out of it. So go to college for 1 year. If you don't like it, then go in the Marines. So I went to college. I was having a ball, discovered rugby, and that was the end of the Marines. But I stayed in college, got out. And while I was in there in 87, I took the written test, and I had an uncle who was a cop, uncle who was a fireman, and the uncle who was a cop said, if you're stupid enough to take the cop job, then I'm going to kill you. And then the uncle who was a cop said, if you're stupid enough to take the cop job, I'm going to kill you. So they kind of helped me make the decision.
So you got on in 93, and you went right to 154 Ladder Company, Northern
Yes.
Knights, in Jackson Heights.
What a great, great place. I'm telling you, unbelievable how lucky I was to land there and work with the collection of men that I worked with there. There I was when I was young and stupid. Now I'm old and stupid.
What did Kevin's brother used to call you?
Kevin's brother. The big dummy. And, but you know what? That got started a different way than people might think. What happened was I was thinking of going over, or I wasn't thinking of it. I was seriously considering it, but to go over to the Nassau Cops in '96. I was on the job for about 2 years. And I went down, Captain Schillinger let it leak out to the guys that he got some paperwork from Nassau County. So then everybody was kind of hassling me about that, right? I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I went down on a Saturday once. I had to do some paperwork and stuff. And I remember it was the Saturday of the Army-Navy game. So right away, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be watching the Army-Navy game. But I was in there, and it just dawned on me, what am I doing? I was just having a ball in the fire department, playing football, wasn't married, had no responsibilities, and I just wasn't gonna be in a single patrol car driving around Nassau County aggravating people, because that's basically all you would do. And I would want to give people tickets, and I wouldn't do well with pain in the ass people, and I'd probably get thrown off the job. So I came by, just got up, handed my paperwork in, said I wasn't interested. The guy looked at me like I had 3 heads, said, "What are you, crazy? You know, like, you don't have to make that decision now." But I said, "Nah, just take me off the list." So we had the Christmas dinner that night. And I came back, and the guy was like, "Hey, here's this Nassau County cop," and blah, blah. And I was like, I didn't do it. I decided, I took my name out of the running. Again, Charlie Hoffman, just passed, and your brother was sitting at my table, look at me, and in unison go, "You big dummy." And that was it. My handle was gone, you know? But, yeah.
So where did the self-proclaimed smartest man on the
decision I didn't make, and stayed on this job, and things worked out, you know.
Philly, where did
I worked with a collection of guys that was unbelievable there. I mean, I'll just this is like a who's who of great firemen. I worked with Richie Schmidt, Bobby Anderson, Tommy Fredette. I mean, this is just guys who went to SOC. I mean, I could reel them off, you wouldn't believe it. Tommy Fredette, Charlie Weeman, Danny Barrett, Bobby Anderson, Glenn Berube.
Those are all SOC guys.
Scott Maxwell, Jimmy Amato, Joe Jordan, Dennis Carey, Joe Napolitano, Ronnie Kirshner, Phil DeLuca. The list goes on and on. I mean, these are just guys who went to SOC. Forget about, and like so many of these guys were master craftsmen, master carpenters, plumbers, whatever. The guys like Georgie Call, great plumber. I mean, the talent around there was unreal. And me, I knew what hard work was. I was a laborer for Local 731. That's how I paid my way through college. But these guys, I learned so much just doing things around the firehouse from these guys, and learning, of course, the job and everything. I couldn't have worked with a better group of men to learn from. And the officers were unbelievable. I had 2 great captains, Schillinger and Riley, and Buckheit, Lieutenant Perenni. I mean, just so many good bosses. I mean, just to give you an idea, Delal, Buckheit, Carl, these guys are all over there. Shelley Barocas, Wayne Cartwright was a captain in the engine. Joe Pfeiffer was a captain.
No, I forgot he was the captain of the engine. You know that? I freaking forgot that.
I mean, just really, really great firemen who I learned a lot from. And the bosses I learned a lot from too. I mean, Captain Schillinger was very tough on me, because I got to tell you, you guys probably know, I was not a natural by any stretch for this job. When I came in, Buckheit had a great line that I always remember. He goes, "Man, Phil, some guys are like clay, you're like dust." Right, he was right. I knew about hard work, but I was just not getting it at first. It was hard for me, you know. Not being able to see and still being able to work and all this. I wasn't really sure if it was going to be for me, honestly. I didn't think I was in great shape. I was strong, but I didn't know if I had it upstairs to do the job. And then for a year or 2, it took for it to finally start to gel and congeal with me, that I was able to, you know, start to learn the job. And
Philly, we were talking about I remember one of the jobs I was at early on. Again, I think I got on a few months before you. I got on May.
I'm gonna guess which job it is. Is it the famous towel ladder escape ladder job?
You went up the escape ladder on the towel ladder to get up to the roof.
Let me tell that to the kids out in the audience.
I think that's a never. I think that's a never.
This may be the stupidest move ever done by anyone in the department. So I'll lay claim to it just to maybe save a life in the future. But anyone knows this, so it shows you how dumb I was. I relieved, I think, Jeff Smithwick on the roof. And I was only in the firehouse about 2 months. And job came in around you, Louis, on the other side of Grand Central, over towards the battalion, kind of. It was an isolated tenement. I think it was a 6-story tenement. 2 buildings that had been knocked down on either side, and it was fenced in. I got their second due roof, and there was a towel ladder up from your company. Your guy was up there already.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see fire escape on the front of the building, and I guess I didn't have the normal mental acumen. It was a single stair building, and I didn't think, oh, but there'll be a fire escape in the back. There has to be. But dumb me, I didn't think of that. And I just like, I got to get up to the roof with the saw, and up the ladder, escape ladder I went. And this is carrying a saw, a hook, a Halligan, and a roof rope thing to go up 6 stories. Now, how I didn't get killed is amazing because, first of all, I don't know how I kept my balance, but I knew something was terribly wrong as I kept going up and the ladder getting smaller and
Kev,
smaller.
you know which ladder he's talking about?
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
I mean, if you ever look at that ladder, it's incredible. It's like made for a mouse.
Yeah, and how I didn't fall off, I have no idea. It's like God takes care of drunks and fools. I was a fool there. But I didn't fall off, right? Got up there. It's a miracle it didn't telescope or something because it just sort of threw me off. That would have been the end of it. But I'll never forget the look on the roof man's face when I come up into the basket. I'm throwing the saw in the thing.
He's like, I didn't even think anybody could do that.
Priceless. He's like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Or where did this guy come from? I remember when I came back down, I think Austin Sawney was the covering boss. He was a lieutenant that covered by us, good guy. And he's like, Phil, I was going up the stairs. I looked out a stairway window, and you were going up a tower ladder, escape ladder. And I was like, I guess I did something wrong.
I mean, you know what? I didn't even know that ladder existed. Like, you wouldn't even think that it existed. You know what I mean? Until you see somebody climbing it.
Oh God! But I was lucky, man. I didn't get hurt, and yeah, that was the dumbest thing ever. So now, actually, I'm glad that came out right in the beginning because everything else I did that was stupid won't look as bad. You know.
Listen, we're all in that same boat.
That's your pinnacle of stupidity on the top.
Oh, you got it out of the way, right out of the box. You know what I mean? You didn't know it. It wasn't like you did it when you had 10 years on the job.
I didn't hear you, Kevin.
I said, so that was your pinnacle of stupidity. So everything after that is.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I had a lot more. But, you know, no, it was, hey, you know what? Like I said, and I own it, and I look back on it, and it makes me kind of proud because I was not a natural at this at all.
Right.
But I was able to get instruction and soak things in from really capable men. And every step of the way, every firehouse I was in, I learned from people, you know? And,
right. And they were doing work there, 154, bro. They did a decent amount of work there.
Killing it. And when I first got there, Louis, you remember this, we had like a rash of line of duty deaths. We had like Drennan and Seidenberg and Bob and McLaughlin and Louis Valentino. It was like one after another. Wayne
Lerner.
And,
Lerner. There was the guy from Manhattan. There was a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it was like nonstop. And I just remember coming on and I was like, wow, man, this is unbelievable because we're going to so many funerals. And I mean, who knew what was yet to come? But, you know, I wasn't sure if I was cut out for it, to be honest with you. And I'm not afraid at all to admit it. I had a lot of doubts in the beginning.
Hey, Philly, Danny Buckite is in the chat. He said, I climbed the escape ladder 3 times for members compromised as a chauffeur in ladder 124.
Well, like I said, he was climbing it for compromised members. What was I climbing it for?
The brothers, open it up. You open it up for the brothers.
Could have worked out a different way.
So, Philly, where did the self-proclaimed smartest man on the job come from?
That has been embellished a little. Buck, I got to tell you, Buck came on, and I got to say, I will let stand what he said, even though there's a lot of little embellishments. It was close enough to reality in this world of fake news that I'll let it stand. But the thing is, what it was, you know, the big dummy thing was taken off. So one day I was getting annoyed. I was like, you know, this big dummy stuff, I bet you I'm more educated than half of you's in here. That became, you're the most intelligent man on the job. Whatever. It was a stupid thing to say, but
Close enough.
Why let the truth get in the way of a good
you know
story?
how it goes. Things get more interesting with the telling over the years.
Yeah, telefireman, right?
That's it. Yeah. But yeah, so that was that, and that put me on the griddle for a while. But I found a home on the griddle.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Firefighters bust balls? Holy smokes. Never
Philly got it good, man. Philly got it good there. He was one of the newer guys there. You know, they had a lot of all those guys he mentioned were you know, there was some real senior guys there, you know, and it was a great place. And when he got there, and you know, the size of him and how he was and how he acted, it was like a perfect thing for, you know, these guys to just.
That was easy. But you know what? It's funny. When I was growing up and when I went to college and all this, I thought I was a pretty good ball buster, you know? In my family, I was considered a legend of ball breaking. But when I got there, it was like the AAA guy that gets called up to the Yankees, you know? I was like, oh boy, I'm in the real big leagues here. These guys are unbelievable. And then, you know, having the dead squirrel on my head didn't help either, you know, when you first come in. So
I wasn't going to bring it up, bro, but tell the story about how 4 years at the same time.
yeah, it was a carpet store.
And carpet. 4 guys.
So not only are you the big dummy, not only are you, I mean, and then you got this fake squirrel on the top of your head. I mean, like, what are you doing?
Timmy Johnson, Timmy Walters, and your brother.
Right.
So it's kind of good. You didn't get the full thrust of it because sometimes they were tired of it from the night before of the day tour. And like, another rug guy's coming in. So, you know.
Just another rug guy. Where are these guys coming from?
But it was kind of good. It took the heat off, not having to be the only guy with it. But
and my brother had to have a little sympathy for you. Figured he had a bad rug, bro, right? So maybe he'll go a little easy on you. No,
no chance. Nah. Your brother went easy on nobody. Let's get that out there. Your brother was, if he was in the kitchen, like I said before, it didn't matter if his rug was looking like it was on sideways. He was firing away, man. Guns blazing, didn't care. You know, everybody got abused by your brother.
Dude, just when you know, it's so funny as you were railing off the names.
Are you guys hearing me or no? I don't want to say that again. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody who can talk, please talk.
Hello.
Come in. Hello.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, is this going to be all about my stupidity, or are we going to move on to something else?
Is this whole thing going to be about me, or is it going to be about me?
How about now? Can you hear us now?
Perfect.
I was going to say, when you were rattling off names, bro, every name that you rattled off, the guy's nickname popped into my head that my brother would call him. You're like, Shelly. Oh, Shelly the Jew. This guy.
This cancel culture. Can we even see that?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah. But every day, he had a name for everybody, right?
No, unbelievable. And Stevie Ferring, who is definitely the most talented and funniest man walking the earth today. He used to get on the phone and figure out the keys, and he'd do the Hava Nagila, and that was a phone call for Shelly. Yeah.
That's so cool.
But it was fun stuff, man.
I keep that one on ready. I keep that ready for Mikey Milner, right?
Philly, what did you have?
That was unbelievable. You had to come in guns blazing, or else they were going to mow you down like grass. You know?
Yeah, man.
It was something else. Funny.
Philly, what did you used to call? You had a nickname for Richie.
Go ahead. What do you got?
a nickname for Richie? What was Richie's nickname?
Well, I called Richie the Fink because he was just like always on ball breaking mode, you know. So I was like, "Come on, you rat Fink, quiet down already." And it just stuck with him, you know. But he was the best, man. I got such a kick out of him, you know.
Yeah.
Unapologetic for anything, you know.
Oh, he wouldn't apologize for anything.
Yeah. And it didn't matter how old you was. Like my nephew was, I don't know how old he could have been, 8 or 9, and he came out to play. What was he playing? Some kind of musical instrument. No, he's 8 or 9 years old. And when he was done, my brother turns to me and goes, "That fucking sucked, man."
I don't know if that went out over the air. I didn't hear it.
How about now? Does he hear
You
us?
got us?
You better say it again because we're having a little audio problem here.
Hello.
Hello, come in. Hello.
How, cow? Anyone hear me?
I hear you.
All right, so what'd you just say? I missed the whole thing.
Tell. It was very similar to what you said when my brother became a baseball coach. Tell him the story about.
God. He used to tell me about the kids he was coaching, and he's like, I got this one kid who just sucks, and he keeps asking me if he can pitch. So I told him, absolutely not. As a pitcher, I'm going to go play in right field, and don't ask me again. My pitch. The kid's 10 years old. He really wanted to take it easy on me. It's like, nah, I can't have people bothering me to pitch when they suck. It's unreal. Yeah.
Oof.
But I'll tell you though, like you were saying about the fires there, it was going real good. I guess that was around the time of crack and stuff and Corona and everything. They were burning themselves out over there, and we go to a lot of fires in H buildings in Jackson Heights, a lot of fires down in Corona and private dwellings, and just caught a lot of work. Really did. I was fortunate, and did most things wrong the first few times, but then I got the hang of it, And I feel bad for the guys today because, like anything else, you got to have repetition. And things, whether it's forcible entry, whether it's anything, putting up ladders, and they just don't get enough shots at it, to get real good as fast as they could. They might have otherwise been past. And luckily, we had a lot of repetitions at it. We were running a lot, and a lot of it sucked with the pull boxes and all. But when you're young, it doesn't bother you. But we just caught a lot of work all the time. And you guys, everybody, what I liked about that battalion was, there was no like, we got to beat them in and this and that. Everybody was kind of gentlemanly about it. I never remember units trying to beat each other for everything. And everyone had confidence in all the units that were in the 4.9 and the 4.6. At least I never heard anybody else, they suck. Like, you work some places. Nobody bashed anybody because all those companies were really, really pretty good.
Yeah.
Philly, think about how big those areas are. Think about how big the area, the area that you're in.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
He's frozen.
What did you say? What did you ask?
I think we're gonna need Irene in here again.
Am I stuck? Am I on?
You're frozen.
Can you hear me?
Am I talking? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hello, come in.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Can you hear?
All right.
I was saying, Philly, how big the area was that 154 had, 138, 117, 136, right? How we went from 1st Street to 94th Street, I think first due. Like it was some ridiculous thing. Like
that was something. I bet when you got promoted, that was the same thing with me. I was like, because I was used to sometimes it was like a 10-minute ride to some boxes,
Right, exactly.
And working in Brooklyn, especially, my God, it was like you got on the rig and bang, you were at the box, and you better get off because you're going to get beat in, And that was a shock, but we had a huge response there. I mean, I went to Flushing, Forest Hills, Astoria, Woodside, East Elmhurst. I mean, that was a huge map there, and that included the Parkway, the Grand Central Parkway, the BQE, the airport, the jail, everything,
Yeah. And and not too many vacant. It was all occupied work too. It's not like they were all over there. Heavily occupied. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It was a great place, great neighborhood to start out. And it was kind of a sleeper company because you say from 154 Truck, a lot of people don't know about it. But even back then,
Right.
But it was a great place to do work. It really was. Like I said, the officers, they just trained us so well. Like if we had a car fire, we weren't just putting it out and taking it up. We were taking the car apart afterwards. We were cutting it up, or we were coming back the next day to cut it up. And anything we could take back from a firehouse, from a job, building materials wise or anything, we would grab that sometimes. And we always had stuff going on, No sitting around, which was great. And I always liked working in houses like that,
So before we move on
Copy
to
that or no?
Yeah,
Yes.
10-4.
Yeah. Trying to think.
Can you hear us?
154. So many good stories at 154. My God. But Stevie Ferring, right?
Yep.
Sure.
Great guy to work with. I mean, you came in and it was nonstop fun with Steve, and Stevie Keating, another good guy to work with who knew a lot, was generous with his knowledge, and so many good ones. Jimmy Brooks, Jimmy Amon, I could go on and on, you know. They were all right there for a new guy who wanted to learn something, you know.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even always the best pupil. I was a stubborn guy, you know. I was a prideful guy and all, and but they were patient with me, you know, and it paid off for me. But yeah.
Phil, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, let's talk about your boxing career a little bit before we move on to when you get promoted. So, when did you start boxing?
I was a teenager, kind of a win a few, lose a few guy, which is not the way to be in boxing. I went to gloves a couple of times, didn't do so great, you know, but I decided I still love the sport, and one of my real passions was playing around. I'd like turn the volume down and announce fights or wrestling matches for my friends when I was a kid, and they just loved it. And I would do it for other sports. And what ended up happening was we went to watch. You guys know Joe Cadillac?
Yes.
That's his real name, by the way. It wasn't his ring name. That's his real name. But he was boxing against the cops at the Armory one time in 1999, and we all went, all the guys from the football team, to root him on. And what happened was the ring announcer didn't show up. So one of the guys from the team, Tommy Narducci, says, I got a guy who could do this for you right here, right? And I never did ring announcing in person, but I always did it. I was totally prepared because I did it for fun all the time or watching the TV. So I go, yeah, I'll do it, definitely. My wife goes, are you crazy? She grabs me, she's like, there's so many people here. You're just going to get in here? I was like in a T-shirt and jeans. I said, yes, absolutely. Went in there, did the job. And I started getting calls from amateur promoters for like Golden Gloves or guys who were putting on amateur shows around town. I guess somebody gave them my number. I started getting calls for that. And I would just charge them just the cost of the tuxedo that I had to rent. But then it occurred to me I could start making money at this. So I bought a couple of tuxes, and then I went down in Hempstead to the state offices, and I got my license to be an announcer with the State Athletic Commission. And I started doing the pros, and it ended up being a 20-year gig for me up until this COVID started. In fact, I went up to New York the day everything got, Now that's a good picture, because by then I'd lost all the weight, so pretty good there. But long story short, I came in to do 2 shows at Madison Square Garden and one in New York Athletic Club. But they got canceled. I'd flown in, went to sleep, and my mother-in-law's got up, shows were canceled, flew home. I haven't done another show since because there's no live audiences now in boxing.
Right.
So I'll get back to it someday. But it just happened by accident, and it was something I had a natural flair for. And I got
Philly, give us a call. Give us a call.
All right, let me introduce. If I was going to introduce Richie Kubler making his way to the ring, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, now being led to the ring by his manager, the amazing Cy Sperling, wearing the black trunks, trimmed in silver, weighing in at already 220 pounds, that famous firefighting Fink from Franklin Square, the one and only Richie Kubler. How's that?
Beautiful.
All right, Rocco.
And his brother, Rat Fink, Kevin Kubler.
Gary.
Yeah. But yeah,
Nice.
I could talk all night long about 154, the men that I worked with there, and the fun that I had there, and the things that I learned there. I could go on and on and on about it. I'm grateful to those guys, all of them, the officers, the men, and I love them all. To this day, we're in touch. And we're a good group. We turn out when each other needs help, I think, and that's a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta ask. I know this is we kind of moved on from the boxing, but I gotta ask one question: Who's your all-time favorite boxer, and who's your all-time favorite wrestler? Because I see you got wrestlers on the wall back there and boxers. Who do you love?
Well, wrestling is an easy call. My all-time favorite, the great Bruno Sammartino. And by the way, Buckheit's wrong. When Buckheit used to mess with me, sometimes I'd get him in a bear hug, and he would tell me the bear hug was illegal, which I happen to know it's not illegal because Bruno submitted countless people. You know? So he was my favorite wrestler. My favorite boxer of all time, that's close, but I'd probably say probably Marvin Hagler, who passed away recently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
The marvelous one. The marvelous.
those are my two
That's
favorites.
right. Marvelous. Yeah, how about Tyson? Were you a Tyson guy?
No, I never thought much of Tyson. I always thought somebody who was tall and could jab would beat him. I didn't think it was Douglas, but once Douglas exposed him, if you notice, he never won another tough fight again. So he was kind of a bully in the ring, but once he was exposed, that was the end of him. So I never really thought that much of him. I knew he was too short, and a good heavyweight who could jab would beat him. And that's what happened. You know?
Yeah, this is a man who, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, this is a man who knows and loves boxing. Like, I mean, you know, my dad made me watch all the Tyson fights as a kid. So for me, it was always Iron Mike, but I didn't really understand it until I got older. So, yeah.
Well, if you look at Iron Mike's fights, if he didn't blow the guy out in the first round or two, he really didn't have plan B. A lot of his fights, just he'd win a decision, but not special. And once people got wise to him, that was it.
Yep.
I think his plan B was to bite an ear. I don't know, maybe ear biting.
I'm still trying to tune into that fight, though. I want to see the rematch, man. Him and
Evander.
Yeah,
You know, one of the great fight calls of all time was the Gene Racuglia versus Bayard Karmienki match in the fight.
The Shmoo.
Which I wasn't working, but I went over the pitch box and did a terrific reenactment. I had Stevie Ferring in there hitting the bells on the house watch thing to simulate the bell and do crowd noise. And I did the intros. I mean, I could do it for you now, but you know, maybe I shouldn't. It might embarrass those guys. But I used to do that over the air, and they're making me do that.
I thought nothing was off limits.
I don't know. I mean, I could do it, but you know. All right, I'll just do you my intro for Gene. How's that?
All right.
Oh, you don't want to touch the Shmoo?
No,
Shmoo's tough.
I had one for the Shmoo too, but I'll give you my Gene intro, and then I actually had the live action. Richie Smith was the referee, and I had him give him the pre-fight instructions, and I had the voice down and everything, and everybody laughed. But they had me doing that for months. The Viola Racuglia replay over the box. I'll give you Gene's walk to the ring. You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, now being led to the ring by his manager, the former Surgeon General of the United States of America, Dr. C. Everett Koop, wearing the Marlboro red trunks with black trim, weighing in at a ready 180 pounds, known as the vile little man, the lean, mean, nicotine machine, the one and only Gene Racuglia. That was it.
That's all he did was smoke that kid, bro.
Oh,
right?
God. And then when Bayard scored a knockdown, I said, what I said? I said, Gene's having a nicotine fit, but it's the fat kid who came out smoking in round one.
Nice. Love it, man. Holy shit is right.
Yeah, we're going off in Sillyville, though. Want to bring me back?
Let's bring you back, bro. Let's listen. So you kind of had a self-fulfilling prophecy here because you went all the way up the line as the self-proclaimed smartest man on the job. You went to Battalion Chief.
Yeah, let's operate from the actual version of things.
All right.
One of the more educated men.
More educated. You
Not
studied,
the most, but one of them more.
you study and you become lieutenant.
I was, well, yeah, you know, I found it interesting, and that's another thing. I used to come over to your house, Lou, and Dean Domenico had these like sessions in the basement. Studying. I would sit there and listen, and I didn't think I could ever wrap my arms around all that material and stuff, and I wasn't so sure I'd ever get anywhere. But I started out with it. I got a good study group, and was able to do it, and I just kept it going, you know. But yeah, that was that wasn't easy. That was harder than anything I ever did in college, studying for those exams, you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So you get promoted, and you go to ladder 143.
Yes. Another great kitchen, by the way. Another great house with great guys. And the great thing was Mikey Fiddall. I can't believe I didn't mention him before. Mikey Fiddall, who we were really good buddies, he got me over there, and we worked together there. So I got to spend a lot of years working with Mike. And we worked with a great captain in the engine too, Jimmy Raymond. A lot of good officers over there, Larry Spalter. Paulie Dombrowski was the captain with us. And then, but he wasn't there that long. Something happened. and we had some real good guys there. I had my Broad Channel guys who were kind of a pain in my butt, but they were great guys. A bunch of guys from Broad Channel. A couple of real funny guys. Mikey Barr, who's one of the funniest guys on the job. Rob Hogan. They were all good fun. They all worked hard, and that was a great place to work because you really didn't have that much, nuisance running going on. You know what I mean? And they had a lot of those big Queen Anne's there, and you get a lot of those jobs and late at night when that thing, you know how it goes, that gets up in the walls, it's taken off. You're not stopping it. It's going up that blue frame, and that's the end of it. But it was funny. We used to get Howie Carlson lived in the neighborhood. He was a chief in the 5-1. And sometimes Howie would show up in his pajamas at the job. He'd see him at the command, helping out and everything. And it was funny. He'd see him there in his slippers and everything, and on a summer night, hanging out with the command board, But had some great chiefs there. Jerry Quinn. We had Mike Boss. Chief Grabowski was a great guy. I mean, Joe Dunleavy ended up going down there for a while, and really good place to work. Not crazy running, but when you got work, you got a good ratio of running to working, which was good. Like I say, those Queen Anne jobs really were a challenge. Really was, but I like them.
Is 143 or 142 the tiller? One of those guys a tiller?
143 is the tiller. Yeah,
143 is the tiller. Right. Yeah. Is that the first time you ever worked at a tiller, or you got detailed at a tiller?
I drove a tiller once, but I never had to drive the back. When I was a chauffeur, I got detailed to drive a tiller. It was the same thing. They just said, "Do what you do," and our guys in the back will do what they do. But when I was in chauffeur school, I was not good on the tiller, so I was always glad I never got detailed to be the tiller man. But 143 tiller, which was, thank goodness, because some of those streets were so tight. Especially the ones that ran into the 39 on the other side of Wood Haven Boulevard, really tight streets, and you had to have a tiller there. There'd be no way to make a turn. With 117, never happened, on those streets between the cars and the way they were just real tight. But that was a tiller rig, and they've been closed. The engine had closed more than once down there over the years. Had been closed and reopened, but. That's right. It's a great place to work. I worked with a good bunch of guys there again. But it sucked over there. You guys know about my well-known dislike of mice and rodents in general, right? Right?
I think Buckeye brought it up, yeah.
So I don't know. Naturally, that fire followed me down there, and they used to scare the crap out of me. I don't know where they got them, but they had these fake rats that looked really real. And they would put them everywhere, and they would shock the hell out of me 10 times. I mean, I'd open a box of cereal, there'd be one in there.
Oh, God.
But one time.
Somebody wants. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Kev. What were you saying?
Somebody wants to know. It says, ask the chief about the moose.
So silent. What?
Ask the chief about the moose.
The moose. What moose?
I don't know. That's what the guy's asking in the chat. Pete, ask the chief about the moose.
The moose.
Is that the captain of 294?
No, I can't think of the moose. But let me get back to the story real quick.
Go ahead.
Fiddle calls me one day, Tori. He goes, Phil, I just got a tip. They were out on BI. They went to a pet store and they got a gigantic rat. And they're going to come try and scare you with it, right? So I was like, all right, thanks, right? I went out in the hall outside the office. You always had a shovel there for when you swept up to pick up the stuff. So I had a nice big shovel, and I put it around out of sight. So Terrence Halloran, you worked with Patty Halloran, his brother, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Or was he from 163? I forgot. Or was he from 117?
No, he was in 117, Patty Halloran.
So his brother, Terrence, comes in with this thing on a piece of utility cord. That's how big this thing was, wrapped up in like a harness, walking in like a dog, right? I just go, Terrence, get that thing out of here. I'm warning you, right? Oh, what are you talking about, Lou? So I go, okay. I come over, I grab the shovel. Whack, kill the thing. Its entrails are but it's being held together by the harness that it made. And I start chasing him around the firehouse, and he's running away like a girl. Yeah. But he never saw that one coming. I was like,
Oh,
all right,
my
I warned you. Boom.
I bet you they never brought any rats in again.
All the time. In the Atlantic Avenue Tunnel, I guess they must have went there the night before sometimes, and they strategically placed some rats around to scan it, you know? We went down the tunnel and like, holy crap, there's rats down here, and, you know.
To scam me. They placed the rats around to scam me.
I mean, everywhere I went, the rats followed with me. And sadly, I had to work as a captain in the project area and also as a chief, and there were rats everywhere. And I had to like really hold it together not to freak, you know, some of the times. Yeah, you know, nothing escapes these guys. They'll send it with you, you know.
It follows you.
This is a guy who
bro, I can't keep talking. I feel like I'm talking.
This guy runs into burning buildings. He goes into the boxing ring. He plays rugby where they're tackling each other with no equipment, and he played football with the FDNY team, and he's afraid of a mouse. Look at that guy. That guy right there is afraid of a mouse. Can you believe that?
Back in the day, we had the Bayshore Sunrise Drive-In, and my family was poor, and that was like our only way to get out and do something. So we'd go to the drive-in. My dad took us there once to see this movie, Willard, and the second feature was Ben, about this guy who was able to like train rats to go out and attack his enemies and stuff. And there was like, it just skeeved me out. I never got over it. You know? So that was
what happened? What happened to this picture? You got bit by a tick, Philly?
What?
What happened in this picture? You got bit by a tick or something? You got an allergic reaction?
No, I know. You know what? I was at my heaviest there. I was about 280.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, but it came in handy out there.
Did you play with Wetzel was on the rugby team, wasn't it?
Danny and I knew Danny from rugby before we even got on the job. I used to play against Danny.
Is that right?
Yep.
And then here you are with the football. Good Lord.
So what year was this that you were on the cover of Sports Illustrated?
Oh, that was another thing that happened by accident. 2001. The guys, you guys probably know, we had all those guys get killed on 9/11. On the team, I think we had 22 guys between active and alumni got killed. So Sports Illustrated decided to invite them out to the Night of Champions that December. But I was assigned to Ground Zero, and I mean, I could have gotten out of it for the weekend, but I didn't want to. You know, I felt I should be down there doing what I had to do. So they were out there, I was here. And they get down there, they must have got the idea that they wanted to do a cover with FDNY guys who were on job-wide teams. So they called me and said, hey, you got to, this is after work one night, I get a call, I think it was Neil Walsh, called me like, you got to get down to ladder 3, they're going to put you on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'm like, I'm thinking, bull crap. They're out in California trying to, you know, have a little fun and break my chops.
Bamboozle you.
Back. She says, it's them again. I'm like, tell them to F off, you know, and whatever. And she goes, no, they want to talk to you. So I said, all right, look, I'll go down there. But if this is a trick, I'm going to be at the airport with a bazooka and kill all of you because I'm exhausted. I don't really want to go down there, but it turned out to be true. So, but, you know, I'm just on there as a representative for guys who were athletes on the job and who had competitive spirit and all. And believe me, I was far from the best guy on the team because I was barely hanging on at that point. You know, I was old and I didn't have, I had another year in me and that was it. You know? But right place at the right time. You know?
What year did you start playing for the football team, Phil?
95. I didn't play my first year because I want to get off probation first. And
right.
Started in then, and I played through 2007. So I played 2002. So I played 8 seasons with them, and I had a great time. I got to see a lot of the country and played in some cool cities and met a lot of great people. Same with the rugby.
Speaking of which, this might be the scariest picture of you I've ever seen. Look at this.
Well, that's a great picture because that's Tommy and Danny Foley, who I really liked and got to know playing football. And you know, they both since passed. Tommy passed 9/11, and Danny we lost recently with pancreatic cancer. But yeah, I met some great guys. I got to know guys all over the job, which came in handy later. And same with the rugby. I got to go to many parts of the world playing rugby in some cool cities and countries, and it enhanced my career. It really did. It made it so much more enjoyable, you know, to look forward to stuff like that.
What position did you play on the football team?
I started out as an end, and as Steve Orr will tell you, I was not a very good containing defensive end. I was a good pass rusher, but containing the run was not my forte. So they moved me inside, and I played tackle for the last 7 years of my career. The first year I did okay, but I wasn't fundamentally sound with the containment, so they moved me inside. That was a better spot for me. I haven't played football since, God, it was 10 years since I played, and then I came back to it. But I was in shape from the rugby, so it worked out okay.
By the way, they're saying Moose was Bob Mochia or Mokia.
Bob Mokia.
Moccia.
Mokia. I have no idea.
There you go.
Isn't that something?
Was he there after you, maybe? Before you? After you?
What was he? Football team?
I don't know.
I think he was in the
Captain
engine.
Graham is talking about it.
Yeah, they said he was in the engine. He was in 294, so it could have been before you, Phil.
Bob Mokia. No. He didn't work there when I was there. No.
All right.
Did you guys ever win the championship, Philly?
No, he didn't. But anyway, next.
Phil, did you hear that?
What?
Did you guys ever win the championship?
Not when I was playing. I never actually even beat the Cops. I had 8 losses to the Cops. I call myself the ultimate loser with the football team. I came close. came within 1 point, within 2 points, within 6 points. Those are the closest I came to winning. But I fall back on the fact that I won 18 out of 21 against the Cops in rugby, so that was pretty good.
Oh, nice.
I never beat them in football. But the worst thing was, it was like I was the Don Mattingly of the team. The year I retired, they beat the Cops 35-7 and went on to win the national championship. Now,
my God, are you kidding me?
Look, I'm a hangnail on the fickle finger of fate, man. That's but
boys, I'm gonna leave the studio for a minute. I have to reset my system, so I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
All right.
You guys go ahead.
All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah, but
thank God.
they've been to 6 or 7 since then, and they won 4. But they're doing pretty good now.
You know why? They got a really good tackle now.
Go ahead, Fink. What were you going to say?
I forgot what I was just going to ask you. I was going to ask you. I'm getting old.
Yeah, I finally had a good.
I'll tell you a good Mike Fiddle 143 story. Want to hear it?
Yeah.
Clamor. Wasn't he a clamor, Phil?
Yes. But you know Mikey. When Mikey got mad, that when he went dark, look out, he give you this. Yo, bro, you kidding me? Like if he was mad, watch out, right? So anyway, one time he comes into 143. I wasn't there, but I heard the whole story. He brought some relatives of his from Kentucky to come see the Firehouse. I think one of them was a fireman. So anyway, he's coming in with his wife, his cousin, or whatever it was, and his wife. And the guy's bucket from up above to hit.
Oh, no.
Mike went dark right then. Went in the Firehouse, grabs them all, and takes it to the foosball table and turned it into sawdust, right, on the spot.
Shit.
He just flipped, and they never did that again.
I'll bet.
Dude, I used to say him and Roby, right? He was a clamor too from
Kevin,
316.
I'm sorry, what?
Can you hear me?
I can.
I was saying that Mikey Fiddle and Roby Robleski from 316, they were both clamors.
Yeah.
Their forearms were like people's thighs, right? I mean, you didn't want to get grappling with those guys because they were so strong with their hands because they did that work.
Yeah, I used to go out clamming, but I would go in and do it with my feet with Mike. I would tread. But
I did the same thing with the tube. With the inner tube. You would do the inner tube with the bucket, and you would throw the clams in the bucket while you were in the water, right?
Yeah, now he's an oyster farmer. He's got his own oyster farm going out there.
Does he really?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a whole thing going, him and Mark. He
was a nice guy, man. I liked him.
Great guy. I'm so glad that and I got to repay the favor. He got me over to 143. And then when he was making captain, I happened to call Jimmy Campbell, who was the Division 11 commander at the time. And I just said, Mike wanted to go not too far from where he was. He was in 143. So I'll go to the 11th. I said, all right, I'll call Jimmy Campbell, make sure you get over here. And Jimmy goes to me, Yeah, he could come here. In fact, ask him if he wants the spot in 271, right? So I'm like, what do you mean? The covering, you know, like UFO? No, the spot. Nobody's putting in for this thing. I'm pissed off. If he wants the spot, tell him to call me by 1800, right? So meanwhile, it's like 5 o'clock, right? So I'm like, all right, hold on. Now I try to call Mike, and he's not picking up. And I'm leaving a message. I'm like, Mike, call me. This second, don't waste a second. You got to call me. I could get you a spot right now. You won't have to bounce. So finally, he did call Jimmy Leonard. He never had to bounce a single day. He got the spot before he was promoted. He was getting promoted.
In 271.
Yep, in with the Tonka. Yep, and he got that spot before he even was promoted. It's a funny story, right? I mean, but I was happy. I got to do something for him. So he didn't have to bounce.
That's perfect.
Yeah. We worked together a long time. We had a lot of fun, and I love him. He's like my brother to this day, you know.
You have
You watching? I love you, buddy.
You have any memorable fire stories from 143? Any good jobs you went to that stick out in your mind?
Oh yeah, we had a lot. Like I said, a lot of it was the Queen Anne's. There was one that sticks out in my mind. That what happened was in the basement, the flue pipe, I guess, come loose from where the heater was hooked up, you know, to go out and up into the chimney. The flue pipe came down. The thing was blowing, and we went down the basement. You could see the flame was shooting right up. So I'm like, all right, get a line down here. Let's get it from below. And squad was going up. Phil DeLuca was the officer. They were going up, wait a minute. Yeah, Phil DeLuca was the officer. Yeah, he was up there, but I thought we knocked it down because they shot it up the, you know, the balloon frame. And it looked, I called up the second floor. I said, open the wall. You got anything? No, right? So the chief rolls in. I say, Chief, it looks like we got it. I'm not going to say probably will hold, but I think we got most of it. And then Philly DeLuca goes, no way, bro. It's roaring up here. in the attic, you know, went right up and boom. And I'm telling you what, as furthest thing from being under control, this thing was just out every window up there, you know. And that happened a lot, though, because if it was nighttime, you didn't really get the job until it was too late, you know, because those were all balloon frames, you know. But I'm trying to think. We had another one. This is interesting. We had one time, car fire, right? So I go up, I just break the window to get some vent going, and then I open the door. The door was open, and there was somebody in there, right? And that same thing, someone in the back seat, we pull them out, bullet holes in their foreheads.
Oh, shit.
Work on them, and blood's coming out of the hole in the forehead, you know?
That's nice.
So I'm calling.
That's a shame.
I was thinking for like a medevac or something, but I didn't do that. But I was like, yeah, we got 2 guys here, bullet wounds in the head, and you know, 10:45, they're in the car and all this, and
down goes Frazier.
So we had another one. This is crazy too. We had a couple of kids stole a car once, right? Apparently. So they must have they were being chased by the cops, driven off the side of the road into a loading dock, and apparently they went through the roll down and just clicked back in place. And they smashed into the dock, and they were on fire in there, right? We got in there, forced our way in. I'm in there with the guys, trying to pull this guy out of the thing. And I think his leg must have broken already or was just hanging on. So I pull the guy outside. I'm like, I can't get him out. He comes loose. Half his leg is still in there. Oh. Guy out. And, you know, they didn't survive. But that was something else because those guys, I mean, he teaches you, don't steal cars, don't play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But I just remember that. But in the middle of the thing, the gas tank let go and flames started coming up. I just grabbed my guys, so gotta get out of here. Boom, got out, got another thing of Purple K, knock it down a little bit, came back in, got them out. But lots of good fires there, you know, but it was mostly a private dwelling area. We had a few MDs on Woodhaven Boulevard that we went to, but a lot of the stuff was just PDs as far as the idea down there, you know, into Ozone Park and everything and Woodhaven. So we had a lot of connected frame type buildings where when they got going, we had a good job. And like I said, we really didn't run that much, which was pretty good. When we went out the door, we were usually doing something, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, you're you've been frozen up there. I don't know if your wife's around, if you wanna reboot again, because you've been frozen for like the last 15 minutes.
I see him moving,
Really?
but I see him rocking and
They're
rolling.
moving now?
Yeah, he's moving to me. I don't know.
How about you, Lou?
No, but I
Nope.
mean, I'm hearing you fine. I want to make sure it's cool with you that you're frozen. I mean, if you're good with it, we're good with it.
Well, I could masturbate if I wanted.
You
Yeah,
could.
Those things always seem to reboot when you're
Yeah.
touching
right.
yourself.
Yeah.
Right when you're adjusting.
Yeah.
Oh my
Not that there's
god.
anything
It's
wrong
a
with
family
that.
show. I got to keep it clean here, right?
Oh
It's a
my
family
God.
show. What are you doing?
Yeah, sorry. I get carried.
That's not a family show. Not at all.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to
It was a
captain.
terrific experience. I really enjoyed it, and working in a tiller is pretty cool too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Except the guys never liked it when I did the ladder pipe evolution on whole unit drill.
Oh yeah, screw that shit.
Other than that,
So you study and you get promoted in 07, right? The captain?
yeah, I had that pain in the ass captain's test that a lot of guys failed. So I was fortunate. I snuck out onto that list, and
And were you
went to
bounced?
207. Yeah. I went to the 11th because, a lot of guys are like, what the heck? Why are you going further out west? But I always like to explore new areas, and new type. It was like a reset for me, a refresh in my brain,
Right.
So I was bouncing around the 11th for 2006, most of 2006 and into 2007. But I got offered a couple of UFO spots, but I didn't want to take a company because I was studying for chief, and I did not even have a year of rank, so I knew I was, had an uphill climb. So I said, let me see after the chief's test, and then maybe, I wasn't even in the division yet. So did the chief's test, and I said to myself, I've been in trucks my whole career. If I'm going to be a chief, I really should work in an engine because, how can you be a chief and not have worked in an engine? Think about it. Right? So I looked at that place, which, was much maligned, and still probably I believe that a lot of the reputations around the job are really old reputations that linger, be them good or bad,
Yeah.
And that company had a, kind of a sordid reputation from years past, but I went there and I enjoyed it. I liked the guys, and there was a lot of activity that I was used to from 307 154. So people were always going out the door because you had the engine, the truck, the division, the battalion, you had a mobile command unit, a satellite. It was a bottle depot. It was a foam depot. It was everything, right? So
you got a lot of shit there, man.
And honestly, I really was kind of enjoying it when I did vacations there, just the activity level. And the guys were young and interested, and it was good, right? So I says to myself, I can learn everything here because they got the satellite. They go to the foam drills with San Filippo down there in the home port in Staten Island. I can learn everything I need to learn. So I went there and I figured also it's a hard place to staff with officers. So I'm figuring if I go there and I do a good job, this will probably work to my benefit down the line if I ever make chief or whatever. And I got to work with some great guys there. Where I had Kill Duff there when he was Brooklyn Borough Command. I had Leonard there after him. I worked with Vinny Mandela in the division, who's a great guy. He's suffering now with, he just had recently an operation for a brain tumor. I'm not sure how that went, but I think he's hanging in there. But worked with Brian O'Boyle, a lot of great guys downstairs. And then there was another great kitchen. That was 3 great kitchens in a row. We used to call that the Tillery Wood Chipper. That was brutal in there. And the guys were a pain in my ass at times, but they were funny, I had this guy, Kenny Boyke, funny dude. And, they used to get me with the rat tricks and all that. And, but
still with the rats, huh?
Oh, God. They trailing me like a ghost my whole career.
It trails you, right?
But,
trails you, yeah.
And, it was kind of frustrating, though, because we went to a lot of jobs, but the Corona multiples with the satellite. So a lot of the times it was get there, watch other people fight the fire and get sent home, or B, get there, set up the manifold and watch other people fight the fire that you're giving them water for. and you're still standing there, and just, you know, all you get to do is break it down afterwards, you know? So that was frustrating. And even with the projects all around us, we really didn't get that much work in the projects. We got a little bit around Christmas time with the Christmas trees and all, but really not that much. And the weirdest thing of all, you guys saw down there, you had all those high rises going up, all those hotels, all those fancy apartment buildings, whatever else. Guess where the nearest third stage pumper is?
Manhattan.
9 engine. That's a good distance away. Then those, you know, they got the new procedures with the pumping in now and the volume, constant volume, no pressure pumping, whatever it is. They're like, we don't need one. I'm like, I think you do need one, man. I used to put a request in like every 4 months for it. I say, I really think we should get a high pressure third stage pumper down here. Always turned down. Always turned down. But a lot of stuff went up there. When Barclays Center went up there while I was working there, I had to do all those inspections where all this stuff was going up, all these hotels. It was a pain in the butt, BI wise. And the Brooklyn Navy Yard was like a Bermuda Triangle of BI because they didn't have any bin numbers, nothing. That was like a federal thing long ago, and it just was somewhere in there.
Mess. It's a total mess.
A total mess. And it didn't even have the right, it wasn't a city hydrant system either.
No.
We'd go in there and test the hydrants. They charged, they'd be good. But the minute you opened the line, it went down to nothing. You had no residual pressure at all. So they were all gunked up, those old mains. Meanwhile, they're putting in like Steiner Studios. They were putting in a Kevlar body armor factory, a lot of jewelry stores, all these high value, high money occupancies.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, and they had this thing, the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation. You could, I mean, even if I wrote these businesses, VOs and everything else, they didn't have to listen to me because honestly, they weren't under the auspices of the city, believe it or not. So I can only recommend what they should do. What I would end up doing was going to this guy, Tony J. We used to call him Tony J. He had some more name. He was the head of the corporation. I told him, you really need to think about putting a hydrant system in here. You know, a lot of times when we get jobs in here, we pump from Flushing Avenue or Kent Avenue with the satellite, or we get the water from Marine 6, you know? So if Marine 6 is out and we have problems with hydrants on either Flushing or Kent, guess what? You're in huge trouble. So they end up putting a new main system in and everything. So
Chief, is
I
that
feel
because the place is so old school?
And it's all on the DEP now and everything, you know? So it's easier for the next guy that came in. You know, even the hydrants weren't part of the system. The buildings weren't part of the system. Major pain in the butt. But it was kind of good too, because in the summer when we did BI, you could hide it. You could go, I shouldn't say hide. You can cool off in the freezers at the fish markets and stuff that were down there and all. It was kind of a good place because you really weren't going to be bothered there. But pain in the butt.
Chief,
I got a question. It was the best experience I had was being a captain. I really enjoyed it. You know.
Can you hear me, sir?
I can.
Okay, quick question. Do you think that's because it's such an old school place, the Brooklyn Navy Yard? Everybody knows it from like World War II, right? And they were building ships out there. So, and also Brooklyn wasn't part of New York City. It was its own city like a long time ago. So do you think it goes back to that they didn't have a city fire hydrant system? Or
no, it goes back to the fact that it was federal property during the war. And they never changed it over. You know, they never got into they just, whatever was going on was just, whoever worked there before me just winged it with the Navy Yard and did the best they could.
Right.
But at least I got them to replace the hydrant system.
But, but back in World War II, who covered that area? I mean, was it the FDNY?
No, FDNY, definitely. I'm just saying from an administrative point of view.
I got you.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, and they usually get,
you know.
They usually get, you know, at least one good multiple in the Navy Yard a year because I was in 210, Phil, when I came out of Proby School. So we go to one good multiple in a Navy Yard a year, man.
Yeah, we would get a few jobs there, but it was a major pain in the neck. You always had to use the satellite, or you had to get fed by the Marine unit. You know, you weren't going to be able to use. The minute you opened one hand line, that was the end of the main.
Yeah, right.
So. Yeah, I had fun there, and it was kind of cool because they didn't really have that much company pride, you know, and I was trying to turn that around. Like we changed our patch to from the Tillery Tigers to the Fort Greene Cavalry. I was like, hey, we should be the cavalry because everything's here. When we roll out, it's like the cavalry rolls out. So we changed our name, and we would, you know, I would try to pilfer guys from the truck. This was fun, just to create a little fun. I used to put signs up. Are you sick and tired of late night water leaks? Tired of those COs? Relocate's got you down. Join the smart guys in 207. Make more money. You're like, don't get relocated. No water leaks. No CO runs. And I had a poster up. Even the Chiefs laughed. And I had a thing. My closeout was engine 207. Let the smart guys ride. That was it on the.
That's pretty funny.
Everybody laughed about it, you know, and the Chiefs would love it. And I only was able to successfully get one guy who they actually wanted to get rid of. So whatever. But
so you had a guy go from the truck to the engine?
Yeah.
Wow.
He needed to.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You know, I just feel that I was able to restore some company pride there and get the morale up a little bit. Like I said, the guys were good. They were eager, but they were laboring under that old reputation. So I wanted to turn that around a little bit, you know? Yeah.
Do you still go there or go to any functions there? Oh, you're living in South Carolina, but were you before that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I loved working there. In fact, apart from where I started out, of the places I worked, I really enjoyed it there a lot. And I don't know, it's because it was kind of good to be a captain because it could get things going the way you want them to go. You know, like all the years that you say, oh, if I was in charge, I'd do it this way, and I'd do it that way, and I'd do that. You could say, well, here it is. You know, here's your chance. And I was able to do the things I wanted to do. And the guys came on board with me, you know, and we had a lot of fun. I was there about 6 years, and I never minded. I never minded the constant running or anything else. I was used to that. And I learned a lot again because here I was going from Queens to downtown Brooklyn, which is like kind of a mini Manhattan, basically. You got subways, you got high rises, you got all kind of buildings, brownstones, row houses, tenements, everything. So I learned a lot about, you know, high-rise firefighting and engine pumping presses and everything else. And you could do that stuff all you want. Like you could read the foam bulletin 10 million times. Unless you actually go down to the home port and do that foam drill, if something's going wrong during a foam operation and you're the chief, you're not going to know anything that's going on because all you did was study in the books. Well, I was able to learn how the whole thing worked and what to do when things went wrong and all. And it was invaluable because I honestly didn't like being in fires as an engine officer. I kind of felt like I was in the way because I was a big guy going down these project halls and all with these guys. I felt like I was in the way more than anything else, you know? But I had to do it. And I'm glad I got to do it there because they had everything to give me a complete rounded experience as an engine officer that when I was a chief, I would hate to go in and be a chief and only know half the job. So the place served me well, and I think I served the place well, so it worked out.
I was going to say, hey, Philly, who did you have? The officers that were there with you, they were on board. Did you have any senior men there, like that were on board when you first got there?
Great senior men, but most of the great senior men were in the truck. I had this guy, Chris Gunn, who used to kind of run everything. He was like the man behind the curtain, you know, the super commissar for the whole house and everything else. I had a great chauffeur, John Gallagher, who's over at 325 now, 163. But I made sure he was in my groups because he basically, just by driving around with him and picking his brain, I learned all the things about pumping operations, you know, different ways of getting water, all this stuff. I mean, he knew everything. He was a great chauffeur, and I learned a lot from him. And I just made sure he was in my groups the whole time he was over there, you know. And I had him. I had a guy, Rob Welch, who was, he was an ex-cop, but he was helpful to me, a senior guy who could, you know, keep the troops in line. We had enough senior experience there that I didn't have to, be the main guy training the men. I could trust my senior guys to do what was right, out there sharing their knowledge. And I didn't have to always be conducting a formal drill. I had enough guys to train the new guys,
That's how it's supposed to be, bro.
Yeah. But it was a little bit light there on senior experience, but
yeah. I mean, the job got younger, so it was tough, and like you said, there's a lot of busy places that, you can have senior guys there that stay their whole career there. Some of the places, that aren't as busy, you lose some of those senior men. So to have a few guys there that stay there to teach the young guys when they get there.
What's interesting about that place? Any place you work, you have your specific buildings and things that you deal with constantly. Those guys were the very best outfit I ever saw in terms of elevator problems. Nothing could beat them for elevators. 110, unbelievable. They were so good with elevator problems. Great with squeeze jobs in the subway. We had a bunch of them. They had that down to a science. They were good at what they did, and it was unfortunate that they didn't get as much work, and they had to sit and watch people fight fires a lot. But it is what it is. And a lot of the guys, like you said, did. A lot of the more ambitious guys wanted to transfer out, and I always tried to help them. Like many of the guys, I had 2 guys that come out of there are in stock now and doing really well. Guy Noble Fernandez, who I really love, who's a great kid, great Proby. I recommended him to Squad 18, and he's worked out great. And Liam just took a kid that I had that I really liked, this kid Nick Welch, when I was there. He transferred over to 123 for a while to get more work, and then Liam asked me about him. I said he's a good kid, and Liam said he's hitting it out of the park. So, I had a lot of good, ambitious young kids, but of course they would leave, and you never want to hold them back either.
I know
if a guy wants to go do fire duty, I don't want to make it hard for him.
I know. It's just the sad thing is because you see these guys grow
along the way.
Yeah,
you guys
see them grow up.
You're frozen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, did you hear me?
Yeah, I did. I was just saying that, like you basically reiterating what you were saying is that, you get these young guys, you see them grow, and you enjoy working with them because you see that they enjoy going to work and trying to get them into work and catching some work. And then in the end, you realize that, they want to move on to wherever it is, if they're going to a busier truck or a busier engine, or if they're going to SOC, which was most of the time.
You almost want to put, all of them on their own wanted to go. But if anybody who ever had talent and wasn't making a suggestion anywhere I worked, I would say, hey, man, you should think about, moving to a SOC company or something, particularly in 207, because like I said, busy, yes. A lot of work, not so much, So you want to see these guys grow and develop, and you want to encourage them. So as much as I hate to lose them, I was glad to send them on and that they're doing well,
Right.
Yeah, I had 2 that I recommended not from there, from another place that I worked, 2 that I recommended to SOC that completely crapped out. And so Nick and Nobel have got me at 500. That's good in baseball. I don't know how it is in stock recommendation.
Yeah. And you guys never got relocated over there, right? 207 wouldn't get relocated.
No.
And they were at a 5-man engine?
No, 4-man engine.
Oh, yeah. They were? I thought they needed a 5-man for that.
Oh, you would think that, but they're not.
Huh.
Yeah. That's odd, right? I always said that. Why aren't we a 5-man engine? But we weren't.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you get to work in 210 at all?
Oh, yeah. I worked over there. Worked in 205, 210. 210 was, they had a captain over there for a while. Pete Fody, I think, was the captain over there. You know Pete?
I think I do know him.
There was a point at which they only had like 6 guys on the chart. I just remember that, going over there and like, oh, we got 1 guy coming in. Like, they were really down on the roster during those years when we couldn't hire and everything. So they went through a period of transition where I guess you could say they were like, the unit you didn't really know what you were going to get because it was usually a lot of details,
Right.
So
shit, I didn't know that. Yeah, I haven't been back there.
Hey, Philly.
Yeah.
Who was the guy from 154? He became a boss. I think he was in 205. Was he in 205?
Johnny Frats.
Frats.
Yeah.
Another great guy. I love that guy.
The best. Yeah.
He was there a long time in 205, right? That's under the bridge?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a funny story. One time, you know John Buckheit, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. John and Dan have the same exact voice and voice inflection and everything, right? I mean, you heard one over the radio, you wouldn't be able to tell who it was, right? So one time we had a call, and John, I think, had just gotten made deputy, and he was covering down there. And John starts talking on the radio. I didn't know he was the chief, and I'm hearing it. I'm thinking it's Dan. I know Dan's retired. I know it can't be Dan, but boy, did it sound like him. And Frats was on the box. And then when he took up, I go, Frats, did you hear what I heard? He goes, I thought the same thing, man. I thought it was him, you know? Exact. You meet the two of them. And they have a lot in common. They're similar personalities, you know? Big drill guys and everything. And, you know, I always say with Buck, learn a lot from and everything else. But, you know, the drills can really go for a while. You know, you could start out with forcible entry and finish up with time travel at 2 a.m.
Is Fratangelo, is Frat still on the job?
No, Frat's retired. I haven't heard from Frats in a long time. He married, you remember the supermarket across the street?
Yes, I remember that. I remember he used to go over there all the time.
A girl
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember
and
that.
They got 2 little girls. Well, they're grown up now. But I haven't seen John in a while. As far as I know, he's still living.
He was in that house the whole time, right? He stayed there the whole time.
No, he went to the Rock for a while. He was teaching at the Rock for a good number of years.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did the, you know, the drills when he went out to the Rock and did the Moab and whatever. John was doing that.
Oh, all right.
I think he worked with
I know
too a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's another guy, sweetheart.
Johnny Calderon, remember Johnny Calderon?
I texted Johnny C today to let him know that you were going to be on.
Yeah, he was like Johnny C.
He's one of my favorite guys. One of my favorite guys.
He was a good guy. Yeah, I just had Jimmy Amon down here. We went Jimmy Amon, second time he's come down here. He likes to fish and stuff here. You know, we haven't had much luck, but he nailed a big catfish last time he was down here a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
But
he stayed a long time.
Jimmy stayed a long time, and he was a Fairfax County fireman before he came to New York. Yeah. So I think Jimmy had like 38 years, maybe.
Yeah, wow. I know he stayed a long time. I remember seeing him at jobs as a boss in the squad. I know that's, you know.
No, you're thinking of Jimmy Amato.
No.
No, not Blinky.
No, Jimmy Amon was a senior chauffeur for a long
that's
time.
the guy I'm talking about.
Ep.54 truck. You'd know him if you saw him.
That's the guy.
He's
That's
just
the
like
guy.
a fixture there, you know?
Yep.
But, I think you might have been thinking of Blinky. Jimmy Amato was a boss in squad. He got killed 9/11.
No. I'm talking about. I said when I was a boss in squad, I would show up to jobs. I would see Amon in 154. I know he was there such a long time. That's what I meant.
Yeah, he retired a couple of years ago, and he finished up at the Rock too. Frats was out there. He was out there. A lot of guys are out there. Jimmy Erico was one of the bosses in the engine. He was out there.
I remember that guy too. Holy shit.
The Fonz. That's what we used to call him, the Fonz.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Philly, 207 is where the super pumper was, right, at one time?
Yeah, that's now it's just a regular, 2,000 gallon per minute pumper. Back then it was called the super pumper or the maxi water unit, they used to call it,
Right.
But it's just got the satellite there, which is, just a rolling manifold. So
Are they where is another one? Is there another one?
Another one.
Is it the same thing as 324 satellite like that?
Yeah, hose wagon.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay. Right.
Yep.
Right, because I saw Kenny Wagner yesterday. He's in with the rigs. He says they have another super pumper down in the shops. I don't know. I have to look into that. Did you hear anything like that?
Well, it constitutes a super pumper these days. Everything's a 2,000 gallon per minute pumper, right? So unless
I don't know what
it's a third stage pumper, I don't know what qualifies it as a super pumper.
I don't know. He says you got to go look at it. I was like, all right, well.
Well, in the past, what do you have? You had 1,000 gallon per minute pumpers. You had 2,000 gallon per minute pumpers, and the 2,000s were your, maxi waters or whatever. But now everyone's got a 2,000. And the only difference is if it has a third stage.
Right.
Which they're saying they don't have a third stage pumper down there, which is weird. But yeah.
All right, so let's move on to when you get promoted BC, my man.
Yeah.
2014, right?
Yep. And I was very fortunate again. I remember going to talk to Richie Parenti. You remember Richie? was a lieutenant in 154.
I know that name.
He ended up being a captain at 125 for a long time. He worked with Fernicola down there and a few other guys, Richie DePrima. You guys hearing me?
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
you.
we hear you. I don't
All right,
know.
Lou's frozen. I was looking at Lou. So, how did I get to this thing? Oh, so I remember when I knew I was gonna get made chief soon and all, and I went. Parenti 125 was close to my house, so I just happened to go there, and I was talking to Parenti about it. I said, the guys think I'm crazy, but I'm thinking of going to Manhattan because I think, I had a good experience in Brooklyn. I think I would probably do okay there, and I would like to, try something new. And he was like, you know what? He goes, I would recommend that to you. Go down there, give it a shot. If you don't like it after a year, leave. But I ended up liking it. I got covered only for like 8 months. And then John Rail snatched me up to totally out of the blue for a surprise. And I only knew John because he was long retired from the football team when I was playing, but he used to come to games and I got to know him a little bit. And he said, hey, you want to come down here? I got a UFO spot. And I was like, really? There's got to be like how many people in front of me for a UFO spot in Battalion 4? He's like, no, come on down. And then I went there and eventually I got the spot. And that was the biggest change for me going to chief, because your whole picture has to change. When you're a company officer, you're thinking basically about your company and the guys who are in your immediate supervision, and that's about it. You're thinking about those 5 guys that you got, but seeing the big picture took a little bit of time, Yeah. Now you're totally responsible for everybody, kinda, and you got to change your view of things. It's no longer this, it's this, and that takes a little time to get used to, but again, I enjoyed it. I had good aides, excellent aides everywhere I worked in Manhattan. The guys were really crackerjack aides, and the aide's going to make or break you. I don't care what anybody thinks they know or anything. The aide knows, and even as a covering boss, I always, I never thought I had to sit down at a drill and tell everybody that I knew everything and try to pretend that I did. I knew the best thing to do was ask, hey, what's the problematic spots around here? What type of buildings you go to the most? And I would be picking their brains and kind of having them drill me when I went to a place where I wasn't familiar with the buildings. Like if I went to a row frame area when I was in the 11th, never battled a fire in a row frame. So I'd let them carry the drill, And same thing when you become a chief, I think more than ever, you really got to put your ego aside, because if you go into an area that you've never been in, guess what? You don't know anything. You may know what to do when there's an actual fire going on, but everybody else has all the inside dope, the good boxes, where the trouble areas are, what tactics they use that are unique to them. And that's it, man. I was doing that. And I did that with the aides too. The aides would tell me everything, And you can't be a fire boss and have an ego and think you know everything, because that is the furthest thing from the truth, man. You go to a strange area, you don't know anything. The Proby may know more than you about the buildings in the area and stuff, So I always took it from that approach, and the aides were invaluable to me. I just would tap their brains the whole time I was there, And I had a lot of good ones. I had good ones in Battalion 4 that were great,
That's in Fort Pitt, right? Battalion 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my brother was a chief there too, man, in Fort Pitt.
That's a house that a lot of people have passed through, and also 207 and 110. A lot of people have passed through there. A lot of former chiefs of the department have worked there, and you look on the wall of the pictures. Gosh, what's his name? His name escapes me. He's the chief of department. He was kind of a hard guy recently. Frank something. I'm sure Carruthers. He worked in 110. I mean, you look on the walls there. There was a lot of who's who of big time fire chiefs had passed through there. It was kind of a bottleneck for the job. A lot of people seemed to work in certain places, and 207 and 110 was one of them, and also Fort Pitt. And I also had a huge advantage with one of the aides there. I had a Chinese-speaking aide. How valuable is that, right? I mean, yeah, I made sure I worked with him a lot.
Otherwise, everybody's just nodding at you.
Nodding and smiling.
That's it.
I'll tell you a quick one. A job I had down there once was unbelievable, right? There's this old, it was down by Canal Street, an old ornate, you could see it used to be really nice at one time, a movie theater. It was all boarded up. You could tell it was shut down, not operating. Smoke pushing out of every orifice when we pulled up. So I'm thinking, we got a major job here, but I didn't do a second on arrival. I just asked for an extra engine and truck, and 6 truck was the first ones in. So, see if you can find it. Let me know what you got, right? I just want to make sure this isn't just a glorified smoke condition. So they went in, and in the basement, they find a bunch of piles of pallets burning, right? Now, I was in the lobby and couldn't see my hands in front of my face, so I'm only imagining what it was like down there. I'm like, all right, so what do you got? We got a bunch of piles of pallets going. We got 5 people down here. I'm like, whoa, 5 people? What? He's like, yeah, we got 5 males down here. I'm thinking, what are they? Are they unconscious? Oh, no, they're just sitting around the table here. Like, what do you mean? Sitting around the table. What are you talking? Yeah,
That's
all right.
that sounds about right. It sounds about right.
5 Chinese guys. It was like the 5 Chinese brothers, right? Remember, one guy he could breathe in whatever, be cooked in a pie and nothing happened to him. The other guy could drink the ocean, nothing happened to him. So I'm like, wow, these guys like the 5 Chinese brothers that's sitting down there. Now they don't speak English, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell they're doing, sitting at a table with pallets burning in a smoke condition. You can't see your head in front of your face, right? So I tell my aide, Nate, ask these guys what the hell they were doing down there in Chinese, right? Right, back and forth. Oh, they said they're demoing the building, but they wanted to get some heat going, so they wanted to defrost the pipes, right? So I'm like, what, right? I go, how do you say, are you effing kidding in Chinese?
He goes, are you effing kidding?
Yeah, you got that, and they start laughing. I'm like, don't laugh, pal. This is awesome. You crazy? Yeah, they thought that was normal. You can tell those guys who just got. And in Chinatown, man, you see stuff you wouldn't believe in those places. They'll set up these things in a 1-bedroom apartment where they got these chutes that they sleep in. These things, there'll be 15 people in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Jeez.
Philly, every year there's like 1 or 2 of those jobs, right? Where as soon as you hear it come in, you're like, oh my God, this is not going good. And then it's like a 8th alarm or something ridiculous,
But I couldn't believe it that these guys could sit in this smoke condition and like everything was fine, The guys were, I said, are they nuts? I mean, I had to call the marshals in, everything, These guys, there were no permits, no nothing. Someone hired these guys just to do the demo on the slide,
Something
Never
wrong.
thinking they would do something like this, but
They did something wrong, and they did the wrong thing.
Something wrong.
yeah, and they didn't seem bothered by it either. So, but hey, they never had it so good. Probably.
Kevin Malone wants to know, how do you say big dummy in Chinese?
Oh, that's a good question. Who wants to know?
Somebody in the chat.
Kevin Malone. Do I know him? Was he a captain?
Could be.
Ask him if he was a captain.
Are you a captain?
Let's see if he blinks back. I knew one guy Malone. That was it.
Hey, Philly.
I don't know how to say it in Chinese.
Well, we do have a pick, though. A bunch of picks from that first job with a lot of grabs.
Oh, God, that was my first job.
Oh, that's right. Where's those pictures, baby?
Yeah.
I remember this video. This was in Astoria, correct?
Looks like Astoria.
It was on Hemorrhage Street. I was working
Hemorrhage.
in the 2-8 at the time. I think it was I had about 2 months as a chief. I hadn't gotten anything real good yet. Super cold day. So right down the block on Hemorrhage, we got this job, and 3 1045s, two elderly guys upstairs with this woman in the back's sons. They got out okay. She was in the back, and we got her out too, but she ended up passing away a couple of days later. But everything kind of was happening at once. I had Chris Oliego as the truck officer. You know Chris?
No, is that 124?
Huh?
124?
Yeah, he was the truck officer, and he's like, I got 2 1045s, and then we got another 1045, but we had a 1070 going too. We had frozen hydrants, so it was like everything was coming at me at once. I had a good aide, luckily, everything was working out, but they got all 3 people out. The two men survived. The woman, who you see right here, getting removed, she ended up passing away, but that was a good job, back bedroom job. A guy made entry into one of the rooms in the back. crossed through the fire room, which was a kitchen, into the other bedroom, made the grab, got the woman out. Unfortunately, it was too late, but the guy got a medal. We had a bunch of unit citations. I had a lot of paperwork to do, but it was a good first job. It was a little nerve-wracking, but it worked out.
You busted your cherry.
Huh?
You busted your cherry.
That was a bust, yeah. It was quite a job.
If you're going to go big.
Yeah, go big or go home.
Yeah, seriously.
And that was in a trade magazine, too. I think it was in Firehouse magazine.
I think so.
I don't know how they must have been riding around or whatever, and they end up doing an article about flow paths, the way the fire went, and how the guys on the scene vented it just right to avoid problems, and discuss flow paths. But it was a good job, and that was the first good one I had as a chief. Right on him, Rod.
So that's before you went down to the 4th Battalion.
I was covering, yeah. I was just bouncing. I was new at it, yeah. And I was still just, trying to adjust to the big picture, And
trying to adjust to the white helmet.
The white helmet, yeah.
The old white helmet, brother. You look good in that jacket there, kid.
Well,
looks very wide.
That was a
I was
hair
going
raise.
to say, look at his back. It looks like the state of Montana.
Yeah.
Well, that's 280 pound man.
You make
This is 245 pound.
you make one of our chat members, Tank, look small. There's a guy named Tank in the chat, and you're making it a little tiny over here. Good lord, nice man, good work.
I always think this guy looks like Archie Bunker, who they get.
He does. Well, I swore to God that was Astoria, because it looks like a typical one of those, right, Louis? It looked like a typical Astoria house, right?
Right on Hemrod Street. It was about 2 avenues down, heading north on Hemrod.
No kidding. Yeah, and then if it was Astoria, though, that would definitely be Archie Bunker. He was from Astoria. So
Actually, the house they show on the show is in Woodhaven.
oh, really?
Yeah. It's
The,
off,
the picture and the opening credits, that's a house in Woodhaven. But
it's off of Metropolitan Avenue.
That's
Metro,
right.
and I forget what that cross street is. That goes all the way down into Forest Hills.
You are right, Fink. It is
Thank
off
you.
Metropolitan Avenue.
Yeah, I know it.
I can't get over. Can't get over.
Rat
You can't
Fink.
call
We
fit
got-
Rat Fink for
We
crying
got
out
one
loud.
more picture. What's the other picture we got there, Petey? A career day?
It's a good one. This is a
Oh,
good
this
one.
is a classic. This happened a couple of weeks ago. My son's teacher wanted me to come in and speak about, careers in public safety to the class. My son was absolutely against me going, told me not even to look at him while I'm in there and everything else, right? So he's got a face on like I can't wait till you get out of here, like type of thing. So
Like you're
I tried
shitting
to
on his
bring
birthday
in
cake.
discussion, right? I go, Jake, you come to the Firehouse with Dad on a few occasions. Why don't you tell your classmates what it was like? He goes, well, this is his first reply. He goes, well, there's a lot of F-bombs flying around here.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying.
My son has no filter, but yeah. So said,
I remember you used to take your son to the island when he used to come to the island.
yeah,
Sock
and he used
Island.
to work over there. He
Yeah,
loved
he
it.
used to sweeping all the time. You had the guys had him working all over there. Committee work.
You learned to run that hand forklift there. They had to moving stuff around.
Oh, is that right? Oh my God.
Yeah, he had a ball down there. This is a sign of age. I can't believe I can't think of this guy's name. He was like the biggest senior chief on the job. He's down there on the
Rocco.
island.
I think it was Rocco. Rocco.
No.
Hey, Rocco.
Oh my God! I can't think of his name. Oh, that's the word of the day. Sorry.
Senior Chief Rocco.
Rocco.
Who are you talking about?
But I can't think of his name. Who is the chief? Oh, God.
Cunningham?
Hayde? Don Hayde.
Oh, Donnie Hay.
Don Hayde used to love Jake. Loved him. You give Jake a million jobs to do, and Jake was like, okay.
I'm assuming he doesn't want to be on the job then.
Who's that, Jake?
Yeah,
My son's learning to be a machinist now in vocational high school.
there you go.
But I used to take him to work with me if I was, even in 4th Battalion, I would take him in if I had a single day tour on a Sunday, and same thing, he'd work around there. Yeah, I had a good time at SOC too. That was another thing. I finished my last year at SOC as a training coordinator. That was enjoyable. I got to see all the crazy operations you guys do, all the equipment you work with. It was like, I remember Mike Shepard taking me through that
The tunnel.
And the big building on the rock. You know, the newest one.
Oh,
we have
yeah.
Store and all. I felt like I was in a James Bond movie when he goes in where the guy has all the contraptions and everything, and I couldn't believe all the stuff you guys had. I had no idea. They give you, you know, a little bit of a primer with rescue and stuff as a chief, but some of the equipment you guys had and the things that you do, I had no idea. You know, really, I learned a lot there, and I had fun. It was a good place to work.
And you got to see Roofy's act over there, didn't you?
Zach?
Yep.
Zach, who are you talking about? Zach Sahara?
No, he's talking about me.
Talking about Roofy's act over there.
Well, yeah, Louis was there. We used to have, but you weren't there all the time, Lou, right?
Oh,
Phil.
I mean,
X-nay on the not there.
I mean, you were there. But
He was on BI. He was on BI when he wasn't there.
What was the schedule? I forgot. Mine was as long as I got my work done.
Yeah, you were working. I was doing straight 24s, so I would come in every 3 days. But I actually had contacted you initially when I got hurt. You were there. I spoke to you, and then you put me in touch with Chief Spillane. And Chief Spillane, he was great. He helped me out. He got me a spot there. And again, like you said, that was a pretty good spot. You know, if you were going to be on a light duty gig, you know, it was still being part of the Firehouse. The guys were turning out the stuff. And, you know,
I was not hearing Lou, but you could fill me in after he comes back on.
He's a hell of a fella.
Oh, now talk about him. Now you can talk about Phil.
Oh, we could talk about Phil now?
I didn't hear what Lou said.
Oh, shit, he's back. Are you back, Philly? Can you hear me?
I didn't hear what you said, though.
Nothing good.
Yeah. So let's see. We only had one word of the day so far. What the heck? This feels getting warm.
We've had a couple.
We had a couple.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. Not that many.
I've been
What
drinking
do you think we are? Just a bunch of Roccos hanging out over
So
here?
listen, I'm curious. I hate to ask you questions, but how long have you guys been doing this now?
Over a year.
Yeah, we started in February of last year, March.
Well, it's a great idea. I love it. I love watching them. It's hilarious. And it's good. It keeps you in. It's like a little trip back in time. You know?
I got to tell you, Chief, it's all with Kevin. Kevin's brain, when it comes to the ideas for the show and stuff, he's just pumping them out like this, man. You know, like and it's just
Teamwork,
like
baby. Teamwork.
Well, it's all three of us really, but Kev has a lot of great ideas, I gotta say, and so does Lou too. So it's these guys. When it comes to Lou's pulling you guys onto the show all the time. He's got a list. Like, right, Lou, where's your list? It's somewhere, right? There you go. Right, exactly.
Lou's the talent coordinator.
He's definitely the talent coordinator.
All right, there. Scratch Tufano off the list.
Oh, he's off. Philly's already been off.
Killed on the chat line. The guy's killing me or what?
No, not at all.
No, you're doing.
You were the best captain ever in 207.
I couldn't hear the response.
There was a whole bunch of other guys.
Pete, what were you saying?
No, they're saying that you were the best captain ever in 207 and all this. Sort of
stuff. Who said that? I'm surprised.
Who said that?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't know who the hell it was.
Yeah, it's in the back, but you know, good response all around, sir.
No worries. Good. Yeah. I wasn't sure.
Is it that time?
I know it's that time.
Oh, it's that time?
You know what time it is, Chief? You know what time it is?
I'm going to guess it's time for the old school tip of the day.
Time for the old school tip of the day. Day. The floor is yours, sir.
Let me get on the TFS microphone for the old school tip.
They can't see that. You're frozen.
It's okay. You're going to be all right.
Am I on now?
Good, do it.
Do it.
All right. Old school tip of the day. I have two, and they're both, one's geared for young engine men and ladder company firefighters, and one's geared for officers. First tip of the day for ladder company new firefighters. Every day you come in, before the tour starts, open every single compartment on that rig and look at what's in it and say it out loud. Every single compartment, including the crew cab, every piece of equipment that's in each thing. If you do that every single day, you're going to know where everything is. It's just a natural consequence of being diligent. So open up every single compartment every day, including the crew cab. particularly when you have a spare rig, because that's when everything's up for grabs, or anything is. So make sure you check the rig thoroughly. If you're an engine firefighter and you're new, oh wait, I'm still at the truck. This is the other old school tip. Rusty and dirty tools indicate a rusty company. Make sure your tools are clean whenever you're out in public. It sends a good message to the other companies you roll in with and to the public that you guys are prepared and you're on your game. For the engine, new guys in the engine, make sure the hose bed is well packed. If you ever notice the difference between a well-packed hose bed and a crappy one, makes a good impression if you have a really nicely packed hose bed according to the hose bulletin and whatever specifications your company uses that differ from that. Finally, if you're an engine captain, always make sure you're working on hose test day. Don't trust anybody to do the hose test except yourself, and make sure you keep an accurate hose record. That's very important. Anytime that you have expired lengths on the rig, you're potentially putting someone's life in danger. And that is my tips of the day.
Beautiful.
Nice. I gotta
Phil.
tell you, that was one of the best ones that'll stick in my head forever. Rusty tools show that you're a rusty company, and that is so freaking cool. That reminds me of Chief Steve. Just be a professional, right?
And it speaks to I don't know how much attention people pay in the public anymore to anything, but it says that to your coworkers and people you roll in with that you're on.
No doubt.
Yep.
Bobby Sano said he always worked for the hose
And
test
that
too.
would be my tips. The engine, I'll tell you that tip. I never let someone else do the hose test. I trust nobody but myself for that. And what I would do to make it even easier was any length within 2 years of going out got a blue loop around it. Anyone a year of going out got a red loop around it by the butt. So it made it a lot easier when we were pulling them off,
Right, you knew something was
close.
close.
A blue one, you turned it into it, then you put a red one behind it, and then you knew it had to come off next time. So it saved you trouble of looking on the butts for all the gates and everything.
That's a good idea, Philly Bags. That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
I come up with a few now and then. I'm like a stop clock. I'm right about places.
Patty Lee said, "What's a hose test?"
Patty Lee, the #1 foil for Dan Buckeye, I guess you could say.
That's correct.
Yeah, have I said enough about Lieutenant Dan, who really was an unbelievable source of information and was a great mentor for me? All the officers there were. And finally, 2 captains I had there, 2 completely opposite styles. Bob Schillinger was a very detailed, German type of guy, and he made his expectations clear, and if you touched the hot stove, you got burned. And you know what? I respected him for that. And Tom Riley, more easygoing guy, but him too, set his expectations, let you know what he expected, and you got a blast, and they treated everybody equally if you stepped out of line, which I respected, and I try to take that with me as an officer. Not to play favorites, not to differ with how you dealt with guys and everything. You had to kind of make it across the board, or otherwise it's just not going to work. So I always watched. I got something from every officer that I ever worked with. I guess I'm a plagiarist. I'm an amalgam of all the officers I ever worked with.
Yeah, Phil, a lot of people say that. A lot of guys say that, Phil. You do take parts of each officer that stuck out to you, that you learned from, and you try and pass that along, right? I mean, that's.
I didn't catch any of that.
Can you hear me? Philly Bags, Philly, hello.
Want to do that again, Lou? I missed the whole thing.
Yeah, I was saying that a lot of guys on the show, they do say that you take some of the parts that you like from each officer for the most part when you become an officer, and you try and instill that in your guys. It just keeps getting passed on. You know what I mean? Yeah,
not sure how many original ideas I had in my life, but a lot of the ones that I got from the officers I worked under came in handy, and I was able to pass them on to guys that worked under me. And like you said, that's the way it works.
Yeah, no doubt.
Anyone who doesn't do it is really kind of cheating the guys underneath them, because if someone took the time to teach it to you, you should take the time to pass it along to somebody else.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, you're not doing your job.
Absolutely.
It's like the other thing is if you know, I was always glad if I was split in public opinion, kind of 60-40 in my favor in the Firehouse. I didn't want everybody to think I was a great guy, you know, because then obviously I wouldn't be doing my job, you know. I'm not saying I'd be a pain in the ass purposely or anything else, but I just try to be totally fair so nobody could ever say somebody got a break over somebody else or anything else. So
Phil, does it? I say this to
the
my
best thing you could be as a Firehouse. If the guys may not even necessarily like you, but if they know you're fair, that's the best
Phil,
thing.
I say this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I say this to my kids. I'm not your friend. I'm your parent, right? We could be friends later on down the road.
Mm-hmm.
It goes the same thing. I'm your boss, right? I'm in charge. I'm your lead. You know, I'm supposed to. When things come down the pike, I'm going to be the guy holding the bag. So you're not always going to like all the decisions I make, but I'm not going to make decisions based on the fact that you're going to like me or you're going to not going to get upset, right? So that's the whole.
You're just asking for trouble if you do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
The best thing you can have is, and I was lucky along the way, I had senior men who could kind of be my capos. Like if something I didn't like the way something was going.
Yeah, better.
I'll rattle this guy's cage a little bit before I have to, you know, and whatever.
Absolutely. That's the best way to do it is have the guys, because once you have the senior guys on your side,
yeah,
right, and you do have to keep them close. Once you have them, everybody falls in line. I mean, that's how it is. But when you don't have the senior men to rely on, then that's where, you know, the officers get involved in shit a lot of times that they shouldn't be involved in, to be honest. You know what I mean? And that's how the job has changed a little bit.
I'm losing them.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, wrap it up.
Look how quick that went. Unbelievable. I hope I wasn't like a stupid guest. I hope I.
No, Phil, you were great, Phil. Phil, we laughed. You're funny. You're smart. Great job, really.
Get some internet. How you're a chief, for God's sakes.
Yeah, crying out loud. Get a couple
what?
of shoutouts up.
Technology is not my friend. You know, right up here now, you know what I'm doing to keep busy? I'm substitute teaching, right? And I work in a rehab a couple of days a week where veterans are, and I do paint and simple maintenance and stuff. When I go in and do the school, right? I was a teacher before I come on the fire department. I feel like I crawled out of a cave with a hand axe when I go into these schools because they got everything going on here. Promethean boards, everything's on computers. Technology is not my friend. Technology hates me. Whenever I touch something that doesn't work, it's the way it goes, you know.
Well, we're your friend, Phil.
We're going to have to sign off.
Where your friend, Philly?
I'm going on and on. I really enjoyed being with you guys today. And, you know, it's funny. I had a little warm-up today. I was kind of hitting in the batting cage at Rescue 4 in Greenville, Liam Flaherty. So I had a little kitchen throw around today. So I got kind of got my stroke back before I came on.
Little banter.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it. I love it.
Hey. Awesome.
All right, so Philly, hang on. We're going to just go through some stuff, and then
what do you got, Murphy? You want to do your shout out first?
Yeah, I have a shout out. The guys over in Squad 252, Paul McManaman. He lost his battle with the World Trade Center. He had a brain tumor, and he actually worked with myself and Phil at the island. He actually, I guess he was doing he's doing the rescue battalion. And out of nowhere, he was coming to work. We had heard that day that he had fell at home. He lost his balance. You know, next thing you know, he gets a MRI, a CAT scan, and, you know, the road goes left, hard left. And unfortunately, he lost his battle. This was, I guess this was last year in June. So what they're doing is they have a website up. Peter, you have that website? I sent it to you. Do you have it offhand? I don't know if you had it. If not, I'll post it up on the fan page. I think it's all over the internet, but we don't usually do it for the World Trade Center guys. But Paulie was kind of snuffed out. He's a big dude. He was a really good guy, man. It's really a shame.
Yeah, I was on a football team with Paulie. He was a terrific guy. Really.
Yeah.
That's all I got, Coop.
All right, I'm going to lighten it up a little here. Petey, you got that picture I sent you?
Yeah, I do.
This guy, his name is Marco Tedeschini, and he was a retired captain from Ottawa Fire, and he's a machine shop worker. He made this for us. It's really cool. I'm gonna mount it up in the office. That's all out of metal. Great craftsmanship there, bro. Really unbelievable.
What's the guy's name?
His name is Marco Tedeschini. Not Tedeschi. Tedeschini.
That's pretty sick, dude.
It's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, the Glenn cup holders there and everything, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
The
for
shot
the
glasses.
That's for the trade show.
Is that what it
We
was?
can
I
get-
can't
we
really
can
tell
get
by
him.
the scale here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's shot glasses in there.
Yeah, I mean the thing looks leather, right?
Nice.
It's a metal. It's metal for crying out loud. It weighs a
that's
ton. So
unbelievable, dude.
yeah, I'm gonna
really
mount
great
that
work.
up on. I'm gonna mount that on the wall there.
Thank you, bro, for doing that.
Thank you,
for
brother.
us. That's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Super kind.
Yeah, and before we go too, I want to say one other thing because Chief Kleehouse pointed this out that they do have a new super pumper down at the shops. It's a 5,500 gallon Ferrara industrial pumper, 5,500 gallons per minute. They don't know where it's going. They don't know where it's going
the
yet.
first ever for this job, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patty Lee said another vowel ender. That's what he said.
all right.
Wait till I tell him who might be coming on next week.
Oh, shit.
Ooh,
Who is it?
don't you start now.
Bob Rocker.
Bob
All
LaRocca.
right, Rocco. We could have used that one for next week.
Oh, there we go.
Hey,
All right.
before we go off, can I show you my dartboard?
If we can
course.
see it, but you've been frozen for the last hour or so. But
Oh, really? I'm still
Yeah.
frozen.
Yeah.
All right, well, never mind then. I can't. If I'm frozen, I can't show
I
you.
can't
No,
do it. I just
no,
can't.
sir. You cannot.
all right, Chief Tufano, great time. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being
Yeah,
such
I'm
a
losing
good
you
friend.
guys.
Thanks for being such a good friend to my brother. He loved you. Petey, why don't you take us out, bro?
All right, ladies and germs. If you're watching us here, you should also be listening to us on iTunes, podcast, Spotify, or wherever fine audio podcasts are found. It's free, so just click the subscribe button over on iTunes or wherever you listen to your audio podcasts, in the gym or driving or wherever you are. Sometimes you can't watch the show. Look at Hombre Kubler right there. Also, guys,
No, that is
Who's
Finco
that?
Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
All right, I love it.
That's not bad.
Also,
Quick.
guys, if you're here on youtube.com/Getting Salty Experience, take out your stinky booger hook and hit the like, subscribe, and share button.
Will you
Guys,
just share it?
Please, would you just do that? It's free. It's free, you cheap bums. Go hit the like button at least, and also hit the subscribe button. Just subscribe to the
Phone
show.
a friend. She had a show. Will you phone a friend?
Share it. Come on. All right, guys. Also, on Instagram, if you're on there, check us out at Salty Dog Inc., where you will find the finest curated fire photos in the game. And Mr. Refrano texted me at 1:31 a.m. every day. Hey, Pete, this is what's going on. And did you get that? And did you get that? Because the man cannot sleep. He still gets the morning jitters.
Hey, guys, I got to sign off. I got an enlarged prostate, and I've been holding this in for an hour here.
All right,
Philly.
Chief. Talk to you
Thanks,
later.
Hence, for the 4'9" metrosexual Lou Rufano and the fake himself, this is Phil Tufano saying so long from South Carolina. We'll see you next time on Getting Salty.
Later, bud.
Hey,
Hey,
Philly. Thanks, man. That was
Oh
great.
my God, that was hilarious.
if he could do sound effects, we might have a replay. Oh, yeah, Pete.
Oh, wait.
All right. Also, guys, support the show or support yourselves, actually. Get yourself some cool gear like this. This is literally, I keep saying it, but it is literally the most comfortable sweatshirt I've ever worn in my entire life. For fuck's sake, go to gettingsaltyapparel.com where you will find stuff like these, or maybe your first do it your old lady's box t-shirt, or all the other wonderful stuff we have. Guys, I want to thank everyone who supported us in the super chat tonight. Guys, that was super cool. Thank you very, very much. Super helps a lot. You guys don't even understand. Also, if you have a question for the show, for the Q&As, shoot one at us at gettingsaltyexperience@gmail.com. Make sure it isn't about leather helmets. And last but not least, guys, Facebook. If you're on Facebook, this is not our page, but we do have a fans page started by a couple of the members of the group. That would be Alan Shupp and Jose Martinez working on that feverishly. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's got fire stories all day long. I keep getting hit. It's the most active group I'm involved in on Facebook. Fantastic. And we also post a lot of our last minute info there. So, last but not least, guys, actually, if you guys have any photos of your rigs or your tables or helmet cam footage of some cool jobs that you guys were on or you have seen, shoot it over to koobspodcast@gmail.com for our new show, which is out every Wednesday morning, A Cup of Joe and some Fuego. And it's been going great. We love doing it. The helmet cam footage is the best. I love that stuff. So shoot it on over to koobspodcast@gmail.com. And that is all the news that is fit to print.
Ronzoni just sent me a really cool one, helmet cam. I got another one today, so we got them coming. Also, you know what, guys? Start sending father-son pictures. I want to start adding that too. I got a couple of them.
Nice.
We'll start adding some father-son pictures.
See what I mean about Coobs with the ideas, Louis? This man is he's an idea man.
Are we? Is this Monday that you're not around, Pete, or following Monday?
So what? Who?
Which Monday are you not here?
The 17th, I will not be around. I'm up at Cooperstown shooting a job in Cooperstown.
All right, so we'll be here Monday.
Yeah, we'll be here this coming Monday. Yep.
All right, Ruffy. And I want to thank Ruffy last night. He put some cash up on the bar. We had a good time. We had a squad 288 function last night. Ruffy donated him and Vinny Pickford a really nice plaque. That was a plaque. It's huge.
Beautiful.
It's a company patch. It's like a 3D company patch. It's awesome.
It's out of wood, Lou. That thing
it's
is
like
PVC.
resin. Yeah, it's a resin or PVC or something.
Oh my God, that thing is incredible. You guys, I'm sorry I couldn't make it last night, but that thing looked unbelievable, and you guys really did right by the company.
Great job.
Great work, boys.
Steve says my curtains don't look any better in the daylight. Some of them a bitch.
Yeah, some of them a bitch.
All right, fellas, that's all I got. Until we meet again, Leatherhead Nation, stay low and go.
All right, have a good night. We'll see you at the big one.
Later, brothers.